Thank you, Eric, and good evening, everyone. Thank you for watching this special edition of WGXA News at 6. I'm Greg Lloyd.
And I'm Victoria DeCardenas. Now, it is a rainy day here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, but don't worry, it's still a big weekend for NASCAR racers and their fans.
It certainly is, Victoria. The rain can't dampen the spirit here. You know, it's the first race weekend where drivers will experience the new and improved track with a new banking of 28 degrees versus the original 24. Now, cars would have been freshly on the pavement right now for practice, but we know that rain kind of sidelined those plans for the first part of this afternoon.
And Greg, I know that I'm excited, you're excited. We've had such a fun day today. And folks, we are not alone out here. We're joined by our Arena Plunkett and our Nick Gibson, and we are ready to have some serious fun.
Yes, and we're all gearing up, Victoria, for the same thing, and that's seeing someone grab that checkered flag and heading over to Victory Lane. And speaking of Victory Lane, I think our Nick Gibson is hanging out there right now. Nick, how's it going?
Yeah, Greg, Victoria, it is going good right now. I'm having a lot of fun here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. I do have a little secret I want to tell you guys. I believe I'm a NASCAR driver now. I don't think what I want to do right now is exactly what I want to do on camera, but I think I'm a NASCAR driver. Here's the reason why. Have you ever driven a race car before? You're probably shaking your head no right now, but thanks to the Atlanta Motor Speedway, I did. Before we fired the engine, I was fitted for a suit and took a class on how to drive a 4-speed car.
Driver to the helmet cart when it is their turn to drive.
Then I stepped on the track where many NASCAR drivers have raced. I'm a bit nervous, just a little bit nervous, but I think once I get the gears and everything going, I will be perfectly fine. Next, it was time for a helmet fitting. And the walk I've been waiting for, to car 21. And getting in wasn't the easiest thing I've ever done.
Gonna turn a little bit.
But I eventually slid right in.
You can hold on to that. Bring your feet all the way toward the front of the car. Your body naturally right in, pull in, shoulder. You are in.
And I was ready to race.
We're about to get plugged in. I'm ready to go.
And the sound that many racing fans love, start your engines.
I'm going to start your car for you. All right. What I want you to do is when I start it, give it a little bit of gas, all right? Okay.
So the hard part, getting to gear 4. Once I got the hang of everything, it was smooth sailing at a very high speed. After 8 quick laps around AMS, now to pit road. Hey everybody, it was definitely an experience of a lifetime. I'm here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Just got done driving one of those cars, and it was a very, very fun experience to say the least. It was going pretty fast. I think I went about 130 to maybe 140 miles per hour. And overall, like I said, it was a very fun experience right here in Atlanta. All right, so first, I would like to thank my fans. Secondly, I would also like to thank the Atlanta Motor Speedway once again for that experience. I was going to tell you guys about a speed that I reached when I drove one of those NASCARs. Check this out right here. I got this certificate from the Atlanta Motor Speedway and also NASCAR. I went 146.5 miles per hour. So that's 147 in my eye. Victoria, Greg, back to you.
Wow, Nick.
Nick, I love that you even got a certificate for that.
Right,
That
you
was
deserve
amazing.
it for going 147.
I
Wow.
can't believe he was actually on the track. And speaking of the track, Greg,
No.
we have to, talk about our guest here. We've got an expert sitting right next to us. This is Brandon Hutchinson. He's the Executive Vice President and General Manager of Atlanta Motor Speedway. Brandon, I think we all know the answer to this question, but are you pumped for this weekend?
Absolutely. You know, we're beyond pumped. We've been working on this since July. You know, the checkered flag fell for the Quaker State 400, and we started taking this track apart to be ready for today. So to see it all come together, logos on the track, flags waving, fans coming in, we're pumped.
Awesome.
And speaking of pumped, a big part of the excitement is the new track. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, we've went from 24-degree banking to 28 degrees. So we are now the steepest track on the NASCAR circuit that's an intermediate track, a 1.5 mile track. So we know it's going to provide racing that fans have never seen before. So that, coupled with the next-gen car, it's going to be something that is going to be very exciting.
And you've got a lot of events happening this weekend, some of it starting today in less than an hour. Can you tell us about that charity event that's happening?
Absolutely. At 7 o'clock, fans will have an opportunity to drive their car on the track, and it all benefits Speedway Children's Charities. So you get to get out here, you get to get high speed, not 147 miles an hour.
Yeah, we'll do like Nick now.
But you're going to get to be behind a pace car, drive out on the track, experience the high banks, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. We've got a lot of stuff going on, and we're excited about it.
Awesome, and I know that there's some incentive for some of the campers who've been here. Those are some dedicated fans out there who've been camping out there for the last few days. Tell us about what they can experience.
Yeah, you know, forever, Atlanta Motor Speedway had a massive party on the infield, and it went away for a few years, but we wanted to bring it back. So the Peach Pit, live concert, cornhole, mechanical bulls, a jet truck, a laser light show, fireworks, carnival rides. So it's on.
Yeah,
so
really
if you're not here already, the weather's going to be beautiful the rest of the weekend. So encourage your viewers to come on out and hang with us.
And you know, Brendan, one of the things that Victoria and I were impressed with is even though the weather wasn't so good earlier, it really, literally, figuratively, it did not dampen any spirits. People are as excited as ever.
It's a lifestyle. This is vacation for so many people. They've grown up coming here. They're now bringing their kids here. So it can't dampen the spirits. They know the weather forecast. They know it's going to be beautiful. So let's have fun. Kick back, relax. Come join us.
Awesome. The energy is going to be amazing this weekend as well. After everything that we went through with COVID, it's great to be back. There's so many things to look forward to, and we thank you, Brandon, for joining us today.
Yes.
We also got the chance to catch up with Cup Series driver Chase Elliott, Greg.
We sure did, Victoria. The Georgia native will be behind the wheel of the number 9 Chevy Camaro come Sunday. At 25, Elliott took home the championship for the Cup Series, marking the first win in 5 years for Hendrick Motorsports. Elliott says while he's had fun on the track before, he's ready to put the pedal to the metal.
I think it was time for a change at Atlanta. I think that, you know, the track was fun for us drivers and it ran its course, and it was time to do something different. So I'm all for it. I think it's a opportunity for a new era down there, and excited to be a part of it.
Well, Elliott also says he's ready to be back close to home. That's great.
It really is, Victoria, and we know the weather is important to everyone here at the Speedway, especially to the campers who came out.
Yeah, we mentioned them before, and we know that our Arena Plunkett is hanging out at the campgrounds right now to see what it's all about. And Arena, I know you've seen some people that have been camping for a few days and are obviously huge fans.
Yeah, Greg and Victoria, these fans here are dedicated. Right here we have Miss Tracy Brown and her son, and they told me, Miss Tracy, you're voting and you're rooting for, you know, an unpopular pick and driver. Tell me who you're going for today.
Kyle Busch. Martin Truex Jr.
And, you know, earlier when I was talking about drivers to you guys, you nodded your head. You said, Mom, oh my goodness.
yeah, with the Rowdy Nation, we don't support no Rowdy Nation around here.
Miss Brown, you said that you came out here for 17 years. I mean, rain or shine, you're out here. Tell me why.
Just the people I like to come out and hang out with, get to bring my boys with me, spend family time, and just really just like the atmosphere. And the location is convenient for me.
Yeah, and you came from Macon, and I can't believe it. I mean, earlier today, you know, you said there were some tents kind of tumbling, like tumbleweed.
Tumbling down. Some of the canopies were flying, but I think all these people are still staying around. So it's done it before, so they just dedicated people to and just really like to hang out, and, you know, they'll stuff it up.
Right, so the party continues here at the Atlanta Motor Speedways, and we'll be here again. Greg and Victoria, back to you.
All right, Arena, thank you. And you know, Victoria, even after the racing stops, it doesn't mean that things slow down here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. No, indeed. On Saturday, in fact, the Speedway plans a new party that will go well into the evening.
Yeah, so bring your dancing shoes because the Peach Pit opens at 7 o'clock tomorrow night. It's a huge celebration with a live band. There's some games and, of course, plenty of entertainment. And a big fireworks display is at 11 o'clock to serve as the party's finale. And now, speaking of that Peach Pit, country music star Brantley Gilbert will be throwing down with fans tomorrow night to kick off that party. Gilbert was named the Grand Marshal for the Fold of Honor Quick Trip 500, so he'll give the command to start the engines for Sunday's race, and he says he's ready to get that party started.
It sounds like a party. I got some friends of mine that I'm bringing from home that are extremely excited about it as well. So, yeah, Peach Pit looks like a party, and we always seem to kind of find ourselves at home in a party.
All right. Well, we hope that you'll stay with us here. It's a lot of fun, and live TV always brings a lot of fun, too.
That's right. And after this quick break, we're going to take a look at what it's like to be the family of a NASCAR driver. Stay tuned.
Welcome back, everyone. We are honored, Victoria and I, to welcome Steve Swift. He's the Senior Vice President of Operations here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. And Steve, I think one of the first things that we want to talk about is we know you had a lot to do with the change in the track and the new track coming.
Absolutely. Had the pleasure of overseeing the construction of new track development and even working back when we started the design and the discussions with the drivers of what to do and how to do it and what they were looking for, and then naturally putting Marcus's vision into place and seeing what we're going to see this weekend.
Awesome. And what is that process like? Because this is a very meticulous, thing that you're doing in operation here on the track. 24 degrees before, now we're at 28. That changes the game.
Very much so, and it's something that's never been done on a mile and a half. Naturally, there's two tracks that are a little bit steeper, or three if we include the short tracks. But on a mile and a half, it's never been this steep. It never paved that steep. So working with the contractors, working on the vision of coming up with it, luckily we were partnered with iRacing and able to see what the track could do prior to actually putting construction equipment on the property and putting it into place. So it was really fun to work with that side and work with that type of technology to put the track into an operation prior to building it and spending a lot of money building it. So we were able to put all that together, and this weekend we could see what it really produces.
Awesome. And you mentioned that you actually got some feedback from drivers, and what was some of that feedback?
Initially we started talking about Atlanta because last summer, if we all remember, we had the great hole that popped up right on the start-finish line, and that wasn't staged. We didn't plan that. We didn't want that to happen. Clarifying that, right? So naturally, we knew we had to do something, but the plans were already in place to do something, and we'd worked with them, and we worked with Dale Jr. actually on the front stretch. The reason the front stretch is wider is Dale Jr. ran it in iRace on a simulation and said, that front stretch has really got to be wider, and told Marcus and naturally us, and we put that into place. And what we've got today was able to work with some great drivers and put things into a track that hopefully, like I said, we'll see this weekend. We won't know till Sunday what it's going to produce.
Thank you so much, Steve.
Yeah, thank you for joining us today, and we are so excited. The weather wasn't in our favor today. We couldn't see everybody practicing, but that's okay because this weekend is going to be great. But I'll leave the rest of this weather report to our chief meteorologist, Eric Garlick, who's back in studio. Eric?
Good evening, Victoria, and good evening to everybody at home. We're going to start off with radar. Take a look at the amount of rain and lightning we had moving through middle Georgia through the afternoon and evening. A lot of it going on, and still tracking that heavy rain from Wrightsville back toward Dublin into Eastman over toward McRae as well. Here's what's going to happen over the next few hours. That'll continue to slide off to the east. We'll be locked in cloud cover. We'll actually see temperatures warming up as we go through the overnight period. Can't rule out an isolated shower or thunderstorm as we go through the evening. And the potential for that to tap into some energy and become strong or severe is there, but it is very, very low. Cold front going to swing through, and that could trigger some of those storms, but not expecting that until tomorrow morning into the early afternoon hours, and going to continue to move off to the east. We'll see a pretty nice day here in middle Georgia. for tomorrow and Sunday. Taking a look at that severe weather threat for tomorrow. Again, this is going to be off to the south and east of Middle Georgia. That level 2 is McRae over towards Soperton, Wrightsville, Eastman, and Abbeville. Can't rule out an isolated severe storm through the late afternoon and evening hours. Temperatures right now, 61 in Mount Vernon, 71 in Abbeville, looking at 57 degrees in Monticello, 61 in Americus. Those temperatures are going to warm up as we go through the night. We'll start the day off at 62 at 8 o'clock. By noon, 66, 71 by 4 o'clock. We'll take it to Atlanta Motor Speedway. You can see that pavement still wet. 64 degrees and sunny tomorrow, 66 and sunny for race day. Going to be a pretty nice weekend after we get this rain out of here for today. That 10-day forecast showing those temperatures warming up near 80 degrees as we head toward Tuesday. Wednesday and Thursday, we start to see another chance for some storms, and can't rule out the possibility for some severe weather at this point for Wednesday and Thursday as well. Temperatures back into the 60s and 70s, hovering pretty close to average for the remainder of the week and into the following weekend. Harrison Body Shop Fish and Game forecast in the excellent category, 3:20 a.m. and 3:40 p.m. We will be right back.
Welcome back. Well, the drivers this weekend put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into their race, Greg. But what you might not think about is the amount of time that they spend on the track and what that means for racers with families. I had the chance to catch up with David Reagan, a Middle Georgia native whose life was spent on the road since he was a child, and how he's balanced it all now with a family of his own.
Well, I'm a third generation racer from Georgia. Most of my life I've been racing in some division of motorsport.
And David Reagan is adding another lap this weekend at the Fold of Honor Quick Trip 500 at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. And like he said, he's no stranger to racing.
My grandfather owned race cars. He didn't drive them that often, but he did own an automotive repair shop. My father raced cars in the 1970s to the 1990s. Some in the NASCAR divisions.
But for his wife, Jacqueline, she wasn't familiar with the world of racing.
I didn't know a thing about racing.
But their lives collided when Jacqueline's cousin steered her to David.
Her first cousin was my PR representative when I was a rookie in the NASCAR Cup Series. So we had some mutual friends in school, and then her cousin introduced us, and we started dating a little bit, and that's when I was just starting my NASCAR career.
And that career has stretched nearly 2 decades. But life on the track isn't always easy.
We kind of got to learn and grow together through the sport.
Sometimes racing took the driver's seat.
I remember when our first daughter was born. She was born on a Thursday, and I had to leave that Friday morning to Michigan to go and practice.
I just joke my first night, just me, newborn, like he's off getting his good night's sleep, and I'm trying to learn parenthood.
And that was her life for many years.
Today, I'm probably gone, 25 weeks a year, which that's not as bad as 4 or 5 years ago when I was full-time racing in the Cup Series and running a few other series. I would be gone 40 to 42 weekends a year.
He'd be gone Thursday to Sunday night on the road for a total of 175 days a year. And while it wasn't ideal, the Reagan family made the best of it.
I think we had some fun days where the kids could travel and get to see things that normal 4, 5, and 6 year olds wouldn't get an opportunity to see.
And now that David isn't racing as often, he gets to spend time with his family he hopes to see on Sunday's race.
Yeah, that's a hometown race for me, and a very important racetrack to me in my career. I grew up racing there. I've raced a lot of different series at Atlanta Motor Speedway. So they'll be there, and that's one reason I chose to race at Atlanta this year. It's a new repave and reconfiguration racetrack, so that's going to be exciting. But it's good to see a lot of friends and familiar faces, and to be racing in Atlanta is special.
Well, we are excited to have our Middle Georgia native
really
racer
are.
back here at home. Like he said, it is a hometown race. We'll be right back after this quick break.
How much fun have we had today, and how lucky are we, Victoria?
We are the lucky ones, but anyone who's coming out this weekend, they are
Yes.
really going to get a lot of bang for their buck. There's so many events happening this weekend, and they're back and better than ever, Greg.
They really are. And, we were talking about things that stuck out to us. And one of the things today, even though we had the bad weather, the rain, and they weren't able to practice earlier like we had hoped, everyone kept their spirits up, and they're really excited still.
Yeah, I think it's just contagious, the energy that's here, because they know what a great weekend it's going to be. We've talked about that track so many times, but it really is a big factor in this weekend's race, not only for the drivers, but for the fan experience as well. And I'm just excited that we were able to be here, we were able to experience everything, and everyone here at Atlanta Motor Speedway has been so great to us. So
They really
I know
have.
that the fans are going to have a great time.
And one of the things we got to say, since we have just a minute here, is that we went to the Quick Trip, the media center here. Now, that was a smorgasbord. I'm telling you, we had all sorts of stuff. And I kept it very good. I had a salad. But
you were on your really good behavior, but
they had such good donuts. Tell me, how were they? Because I'm jealous.
I have them tucked away over here. I wasn't as good as you getting that salad, but when you're at the Quick Trip, you're not getting a salad. You were just on good behavior.
What would say? Okay, somebody told me to ask you how many water bottles did you get? Did you get some water while we were there?
I did. I like to stay hydrated, so I had some of my friends and maybe some of my accomplices here grab me a few other water bottles to take with us.
You know I love you. I'm always going to be your accomplice. Well, thanks for joining us, everyone, here on WGXA News at 6 for the Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Thank you. Have a great night and a